what can you tell us a little bit generally about this sort of digital nomad policy in Bermuda? And, then we can talk a little bit about how COVID has maybe changed it.
Yeah, I think digital nomad, of course, is something that's been around for a while, but it was elevated in importance because of COVID. And I think the government here saw an opportunity for us to pivot in a way that attracted digital nomads here, different from how they were attracted here before, because, we're in the business of trying to get people to come here for a full 4-day weekend. That to us is considered a win. But in this current environment, that really doesn't make sense to a lot of people. It just doesn't work. And so the government took an existing policy that they had for people to have a residential certificate and created instead this work from Bermuda certificate. So the invitation is to come to Bermuda and work remotely from here. And so they asked us at the Bermuda Tourism Authority to help market this to the world. And what we found is that the very same people that we were trying to get to come here for a 4-day weekend were really excited about the opportunity to come to Bermuda for 4 months or 8 months or 12 months. And that's what this work from Bermuda certificate does. So it was an easy reach for us because these are already the people in our targets. They're described as the people who work in big cities in the Northeast, in New York City, in Boston, in Philadelphia, in Atlanta. And we were just inviting them to try something different. And many of them said yes. It seemed to be exactly what it was that they were looking for to kind of just escape the pandemic. They weren't going to their office anytime soon. In some cases, their kids were in school remotely. It was just kind of hard living in a big city. Why not just do that instead from a place that has a safe, clean, outdoor year-round environment instead? And a lot of people took that opportunity.
And in order to apply, what's the sort of process and what's the sort of turnaround on the application process as well?
So it's a fully online application made really simple because if you meet the criteria, you're probably going to get accepted. The criteria is that you have to be at least 17 years old, no criminal record. You need to have some kind of health insurance because the government was really concerned that people might come here expecting that if they got sick, the community here will take care of them. No, what we wanted them to do is come with their own health insurance. You have to show that you were employed by a company someplace else. You couldn't come to Bermuda and take a job. That isn't what the program is meant to be about. Or you have to show that you were self-employed or had some income or reserve wealth that you had access to. And this works for people who are professionals and in their careers, but also for people who were studying. If they were in undergrad or graduate students, this works for them as well, as long
Extended
as they could
spring
show
break, huh?
that they had the means to sustain themselves, right? And that's basically it. If you had those things, you basically could guarantee being accepted. And if you are, your dependents could come with you. So if you had kids, if you had a spouse, that was part of the deal.
And about how long have the visas been issued for, and are they renewable? I come down for 6 months. The pandemic keeps going. I can keep working remotely. Can I keep staying there longer?
So if you meet that criteria I mentioned about and you fill out the application, it's $263, by the way, to fill out the application, because that was the price of the former residency certificate that they had. And you get your application turned around in 5 to 10 business days. If it's approved, you can come for up to a year. And if you want to stay longer than that, you do have to reapply. But all indications are that anybody who was approved the first time around is going to get approved the second time around as well.
And so what you seem to be suggesting here is that Bermuda would also be an attractive longer-term solution for retirees.
Absolutely, it would. And I think the other sort of green shoot we see from launching this program is that a high percentage of those who are coming do not fit what was my perception of a digital nomad previously. Someone who is a creative, works out of a coffee shop and has a backpack, That was sort of my pre-COVID understanding of what digital nomads were. But instead, what we've seen is a high percentage of people who own the company, who are at the C-suite level or director level of the company, are directors on boards. And I think that's one way that Bermuda's program has kind of set itself apart from many others that have gone into this same space. And the reason I wanted to highlight that is because some who are having a really good experience in Bermuda are putting down permanent business roots here, either by partnering with a Bermudian business person or having a piece of their existing company have a satellite office in Bermuda. And that kind of organic growth to this idea has been really exciting to watch.